Well, hello everyone and welcome back. So what we're doing, we're actually going to see if we can simplify this expression and see if you can simplify it in about 20 seconds. Because we need to actually train your brain a little bit to recognize the situations and be able to get their answers so you can improve on your examinations. So let's see what you can do in 20 seconds. So as the time Here we go. As the time goes down, just hold your answers until the end of the timer. If you don't understand where to start, don't really know where to kind of pick up on, well then put a question mark in the answer. Okay? All right. Good morning, KP. How are you? Yes, trying a different time. Let's see what happens. Plus I get a little more light than I would at 7:45. Alright, so untouchable baby father. Hey, alright. So you're saying 37. Okay. Alright, I see your answer there. So let's see what you guys can get. So we're trying to simplify this. Notice there isn't an equal sign, so we're not solving. Okay, we're going to actually simplify it. Okay, hello Brenda, how are you? You're saying with the 37 as well. So don't forget that we're actually going to be looking at what? Order of operation that PEMDAS. So let's see what you guys get. All right, any other answers? Any other answers before I go over? Okay. Pleasant good morning to you, Brenda. It's so nice to see you guys coming back. All right. So let's take a look at this. So we have to do PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, or division, depending on what comes first from left to right, and then addition or subtraction, whichever comes first from left to right. Okay, this still works for my international students that has the BADMAS, the brackets or the parentheses, the others, then you have division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Now, hey Nix. Alright, so let's take a look. First thing, we'll do what's inside the parenthesis. So what's your 5 plus 10? That will give you your 15. So we have our 7 squared plus 3 minus the 15. So now the parentheses are done. Now we get with the exponents. So 7 squared. This is where a lot of people screw up at. They will sit there and tell me it's 14. No, even the numbers are not the same size. The rule is this exponent, it tells this base how many times it's going to multiply itself. So that's 7 times 7. So that gives me 49. So we have 49 plus 3 minus 15. Okay, so now we took care of the exponents. Here, we don't have any multiplication or division, so we don't have to worry about that. So now we got addition or subtraction from left to right. So that means we're looking at our 49 plus that 3. So we get our 52. Then the 52 minus the 15. So borrow from the 5, that makes it a 4, so that's a 3. You make that 2 into a 12, and that'll be a 7. So your answer will be 37. Okay? Taking it step by step. So the reason why I do these things, 1, I show you how I break concepts down. 2, we live in a society of instant gratification. It seems like if you don't get it right away, you're dumb. And that is not true. We all like to have learning at different speeds. So on this space of the platform, there is no judgment, just support. Now, if you feel that you need more practice with order pairs, seems like order of operation seem to be a very big thing here on TikTok. I do have things to help you support. Just all that's in the link in my profile. Okay? All right. So let's do another thing. So let's get this going. All right. Let's see what you guys can do with this one. Okay, well, thank you for the follows, everyone. Appreciate it. So we're going through this step by step. So again, if this does, it's too early, it's perfect for me because I have meetings. All right. So KP, thank you for your honesty. Okay, I is saying 3x squared. Okay, so we have 5/6. Okay. All right, we have I with a 6. So instead of guessing, if you don't know what it is, use a question mark. Okay, just use a question mark. I'd rather you use a question mark and then let me explain step by step. Okay, yep, class solving session. Yep, go ahead, Riley, keep going. All right, pre-made chicken, okay. Interesting name, love it. All right, so Wildfire, thank you for your honesty. Okay, Nicholas, I see you with your answers. Okay, brain is rusty as your cook. That's all right. Let it cook. Good morning. Math teacher from Chicago. Blessed to come on in. Nice. Okay, Miss Brenda, I see you. Okay, pre-made chicken, I see your answer. Leanna, thank you for coming in. I see your answer as well. I think that looks like a wing. And I see your answer. Matthew, thank you for the follow. Raja, I see your answer. Okay, pre-made, I see your other answer as well. Now, let's take a look at this. We have, if you notice, a g function. Okay, so it says g of x. Then it gives us a lovely expression. But then we need to find the g of 3a. Notice the 3a and the x are in the same spots, which is inside the parenthesis. So this is telling me that wherever I see an x in this expression, I'm going to substitute in a 3a. So it's going to look like this. So we have our g of 3a. And that's just going to be a reminder of what we're substituting in. So the 3a is going to go inside the parenthesis. So now we have 2 times 3a. So 2 times 3a, that gives me 6a. Then I bring down the minus 5. I don't do anything to the left side because this is just to help me remind me of what I substitute in for the x. So now let's take a look at this 6a minus 5. Well, this has an a, this one doesn't. So they are considered unlike terms. We can't combine them. So guess what? This is your answer. Your g of 3a, it does equal 6a minus 5. Okay? So it's just going step by step, just knowing what this is, and especially for anyone that's taking their GED, okay, or any kind of high school equivalency test, this is a 4-point question. So when you skip these, you're skipping out on 4 points. Did you see how, I want to say simplified it was? All you do is just replace the x with the 3a, and then you work it from there. Okay? All right? Yep. So, anytime, and here's another thing, anytime that you plug in an expression into x, you should be getting some kind of expression out of it. Okay? Nope, this is like Algebra 1, Algebra 2. Some people are using this for getting ready for their upcoming GED. Algebra 1, Algebra 2. Some people are using this for getting ready for their upcoming GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, TEAS test, HESI test, or maybe they just want to review algebra before school starts. Okay, so that's what I'm here to do on this platform. Now, here's one. Let me zoom in a little bit. I want to graph this. Okay? Is this Michael Jackson? If so, I'll be rich by now. Where's my bubbles? Blanket. All right. I just watched the movie last night. So anyway, when we graph this, okay, is knowing when to stop, assuming that there is more to do. Okay. So it's always like going to the question. That's where you start. Always look at the question to see what they're supposed to do. Now, for this one, our equation's in slope-intercept form. So we have two things going on here. We have our slope. Let me slide this over. And we know the equation is y equals mx plus b. Let me slide this over. And we know the equation is y equals mx plus b. Okay. Your m is representing your slope, or your rate of change. We know it as rise over run. Okay, the change of y's over the change of x's. Slope is naturally a fraction. Okay, so I know when you saw this and you saw your fraction, you're like, nope, not doing it. No, stop. Okay, whereas your b is the y-intercept. So it's where it crosses on the y-axis. There is another name for this. Okay, there's another name for this. This is called the starting point. Because with a lot of people, when it comes to graphing, many of you just don't know where to start. Okay, so this is why you start at your y-intercept with its signage. Okay, with its signage. So when we take a look at this graph, we have y equals 4/3 x minus 4. Where do I start? Okay. Okay, so let's do this. So GRGD 1, clean up the language. This is not this platform. You could probably get away with it anywhere else, but not here. Okay? So if you have a real question, put it in there. And I would like for it to be followed up with a please and thank you. But if that is too much for you, you can just do exactly what you did when you came in. Go ahead and scroll by. This is a place, and I want people to feel safe. If you feel like you want to go ahead and go off, or if you feel that this is too easy, thank you for stopping in. But this is for people that seriously, when they think about math, they break down. And they cannot come out of their current situation because of a test. So I take it upon myself to come here to make sure that the skills are presented and the skills are given so people can have a chance to show their greatness. Because there's a lot of people that can do stuff better than people with degrees. But because they don't have this simple piece of paper saying that this was passed, and they have that dreaded fear because it was instilled on them from either another teacher, maybe another classmate, or maybe just a school that was in that did not support them. So I'm here to make some changes of lives. So if that's not you guys, I appreciate you guys stopping in. But if it is, you guys, let's clean it up. Okay? I appreciate you. Also read the room. This was supposed to be for 25 plus. Okay? So if you're younger and you haven't experienced this before, okay, just sit and watch. Okay? Thank you. All right. No, nothing's wrong with brushing up skills. So your starting point is, yes, going to be the -4. So with that -4, first we're starting right here at the origin, and then we're going down the y-axis till we hit -4. And once we hit -4, we put our point. So now for the slope. The slope is going to be your rise over run, which is naturally a fraction. And what we have here is a fraction, so it makes it easy for us. So your rise, you're either going to go up when it's positive or down when it's negative. For your run, it will go to the left, which is negative, or you'll go to the right when it's positive. So you got to rise out of bed before you run to the bathroom. So you always, trust me, you'll understand when you get older. It always starts with the numerator and then flows with the denominator. You can find it that pattern. Okay? All right? So, okay, do that word all the time. Okay. So now, not from the origin anymore, but from our starting point, we're given a direction, okay? So it's a +4 and a +3. So that means I'm going to rise up 4, and then I'm going to go to the right, because that's where my positive, over 3, and plot my point. Okay? So what you need, you just basically need like 2 points. That's it. Once you get your 2 points, then you sketch your line. And that's how you graph, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. All right. Okay, so these are not parabolas. Parabolas are always raised to the 2nd power. Okay? So we're just graphing a linear equation. Linear equations, that means when I look at the x, I should not have an exponent, but it's assumed that the exponent is a 1. If I see an exponent that has a 2 above the x, that will be a parabola. Okay? So you start at the -4, then you plot your point on the y-axis, not the x-axis, the y-axis. Then you follow your slope. Your slope says you rise up 4 and you do a positive run 3. So from your starting point, you go up 4 and then you go over 3. Okay? All right? We're not solving. We're just graphing. There's nothing for me to say solve. We're just graphing. Okay? No, it's not lagging. All right? Okay. Let's try another one of this. And then we'll move on to our next one. Okay? See, here you go, KP. What happens if it's not a fraction? People! I know what I'm doing. Jeez. So we have y equals 3x minus 2. Okay? So again, we have our slope and we have our y-intercept. Okay? Where do we start? Okay, where do we start? Okay, so shortcake, I see you. A whole bunch of symbols, I see you. Danny, I see you. Brenda, I see you. KP on the Y. Where on the Y? KP. Paige, I see you. Pretty, I see you. Brandy, I see you. Musk, I saw you. Austin, I see you. Okay. All right. So we're going to start at my y-intercept when it doesn't have an x or a y next to it. Doesn't have a letter next to it at all. So that's the -2. So if -2, we start at the origin, we go down to make our first point. So now you have a slope, and it says 3. So we've been saying that slope is a fraction. How are we going to get our rise over run? Well, in order for us to keep the same value of 3 by making it into a fraction, you put it over 1. Okay, a couple of you guys said that in the chat. Okay? Alright, Divine, that's good for you. I'm glad that you already know this. But some people don't. It's not just your world. Okay, so from my starting point, we're going to go to our slope, which is 3 over 1. So from here, my rise is 3, 1, 2, 3, and my run is 1. And I'm putting my other point. Okay. All right. So now just draw your line. Okay. And that's how you graph. Okay. So it's just 2 steps. Once you find your y-intercept, which will be your starting point, then you look at your slope. If your slope is a whole number, you put it over 1. Make it into a fraction. Not 1 over 3, it's the 3 over 1. Now, you will get the same result even if they switch it around. So let's say, for instance, they said that it was y equals -2 plus 3x. You will do the exact same thing. And I know a lot of people will see this and they're like, oh, I'm freaking out. No, don't freak out. You're still looking for the y-intercept. All they did was switched it around. So you're starting with the number that doesn't have a variable next to it, which is the -2. So the -2 is going to be your starting point on the y-axis, right? So that's where the -2 is here. Then you still have your slope. The slope is always attached or adjacent to the x. It's the coefficient of the x. So you get a little bit of math terminology. If it's a whole number, put it over 1. So now, from my starting point, I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over to the right 1 because it's positive. And then draw your line. Okay? Alright, the curves on the graphs. Okay, so it doesn't matter how they arrange it, as long as you remember I need a starting point, then I look at my slope to tell me where to go. Alright? But see, here's the thing. Oh, how did you pronounce your name? Withered? Okay? It's not in the wrong place. Okay, so when you worry about, oh, it's not in the right place, it should be exactly like this setup. It doesn't matter, especially for the test. They can switch it around. That's perfectly fine. But as long as you understand that the y-intercept is going to be your constant and your slope is going to be the coefficient of your x, or the number that's next to the x. That is what you need to put into the brain. Okay, don't worry about, oh, it's switched around. No, just do that, okay? All right. Because when you worry about like, well, it's not exactly this, then as you're trying to take the test, time is going. And then all of a sudden, you got your brain wrapped around this one particular problem, and you still got tons more, okay? Appreciate that. So, now, translate this for me. Put it in the chat. Okay, translate this for me. So all of these problems that I'm doing, and if you need more practice, I have a whole bunch of books and resources and step-by-step instruction all listed out in the link in my profile. Okay? Because me sitting here doing problems, it's okay. Because me sitting here doing problems, it works. But here's the thing, that's not what's going to solidify your understanding. Okay? What solidifies your understanding is as soon as you learn this stuff, you have to put into some kind of practice. Then you should be doing some kind of mock assessment. That's how you practice it. Everyone's like, you just need to practice. Well, practice how? Okay? Okay. Oh, Lopez, you're back. Welcome back. Okay, Marisol, I see you. Okay, you're switching. All right. KP, I see you. All right. All right. Lacan. Okay, I'm just going to say a lot. I see you. Now, if you're not sure, don't forget, put a question mark in the chat. If you are not sure, put a question mark in the chat. So confusing to me in high school and college, but you simplified it well. Thank you. No problem, Paige. No problem. Okay. All right. Okay, we've got a couple question marks. Okay, let's take a look. 6 groups of a number. And I know what's throwing you off is the word groups. Okay, so shortcake, I see you as well. Captain, I see you as well. Okay, Dot, I see you as well. All right, so 6 groups of a number. So when you're grouping things, so like if I said I had 5 pens, like a total of, no, I should say, I have 30 pens, and I want them to package them in groups of 6. So that means I'm putting 5 pens in groups of 6. Okay? Or I have 6 groups of 5 pens. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm multiplying. Okay? Because 6 times 5 gives us the 30. So when you're doing 6 groups of a number, you're multiplying. We don't know what that number is, so you can say 6x, you can say 6n, 6p, 6m, whatever. You just can't say an e or an I because those are actual numbers. So 6 groups of a number, so we have 6n. So now we're going to do a little bit of translation. I have no idea what's going to come up. I have 3 extension cards. Sorry, I'm putting it like in your face. Yep. It was always confusing because you have to translate. Certain words have certain phrases, certain operations. So 1, 2, or 3. Which card would you like for me to pick? 1, 2, or 3. Okay, just put the number in the chat. Okay, so Shortcake's getting 2, Joseph with the 2. Okay, Captain with the 3, the middle, so page 2. 2, we have 3, we have 2s, we have 2s, we have 2s, and I think it's overwhelmed by the 4. 4 is not even an option. Okay, so 2, number 2 is what we're doing. So this is what I want you to translate this time. We're going to add on to our expression over here. So it says, is no more than -9. Is no more than -9. How would I write that? Is no more than -9. Okay. Is no more than -9. So Shane, I see you. I lost you? Okay. To see if you can translate this from verbal to an algebraic. is no more than negative 9. All right, Manny, I see you. Okay, Brandy, I see you. KP, thank you for your honesty. All right, Shortcake, I see you. Okay, Amy, I see you. Okay, Pretty Nay, I see you. Dom, I see you. Alright. Just trying. Okay, no problem. Shortcake. That's what we're here for. Okay? We're not here to be like, hey, I'm a genius. Look at me. Look at me. I can do math and you can't. Na 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 boo boo. Like, no. You know, I have no gripes. Trust me, I did not come out the womb knowing math. I was terrible at it. I used to suck at it. Fractions, nope. Word problems, hell no. I had to do all that, and I had to learn, and I wanted to learn. And now look at me. This is God right here, because I didn't want to do this. Be a math teacher? That was not my goal. I wanted to be Whitney Houston. But yeah, that didn't come out. All right. Now, is no more than. So think about it. We don't want anything higher. No more than negative 9. So negative 9 is the cutoff. That's it. We don't want to go any higher. We don't want to talk about no negative 8, negative 7, no 0, no 1, no 2. We're not going higher. So we want to get up to negative 9. But we're talking about the numbers that are less than negative 9. And if you really think about it, we're talking about numbers that's going to be less than. And since it says no more than negative 9, but it could also include negative 9. That's why we have our less than or equal to negative 9. Okay. Yep. So a lot of you guys said the less than, but it can equal to negative 9. It says no more than negative 9, but it's also possible that it could equal negative 9. Okay. All right. Okay, so it's like some of you guys put equals, but if we're talking about, once it says is no more than or is less than, we're talking about inequalities. But if they just say more than or less than, they're talking about the operation of addition, which is the more than, or subtraction, that's the less than. Okay? So it's, the key word is that is. You just joined, of course, so that's why you're confused. We're getting in the middle of stuff. All right, but don't worry, there is an opportunity to catch up. So what we did was we first translated 6 groups of a number, and we realized that 6 groups of a number is the same as saying 6 times n. So that's where the 6n came from. Then we translate this one, is no more than negative 9. So is no more than, that's an inequality. So that means we're talking about if it can't be more than negative 9, that means it has to be less than, right? But then when it says is no more than negative 9, it can include negative 9. So that will be less than or equal to negative 9, all right? So now let's solve for n. What do we have to do to solve for n? Okay, let's solve for n. What do we need to do? Okay, what do we need to do first? If we're trying to get n by itself, so pretty saying adding negative 9 on both sides, add 9 on both sides, move to 6 with Brandy, negative 6. What are we doing with the negative 6, lucky wife? I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, you're saying it's negative 3. Okay, we're doing the inverse, yes. Divide 6 on both sides by n. Austin says subtract 6. Okay, got a couple follows. Thank you so much. All right, so remember what we said here. 6n, that's 6 times n. So we're not going to do anything with the 9 or the negative 9 because that's on the other side of the inequality. We're trying to get n by itself. So that means we need to get rid of the 6, and we're not subtracting. What's the inverse of multiplication? What's the inverse of multiplication? Yes, we're going to divide. Yes, there we go. Amazing, we're going to divide. Shane, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by 6. Because the goal with solving equations or inequalities is to get the variable by itself on one side. They said isolate the variable. Okay? When you isolate, you're by yourself. Okay? So 6 divided by 6 gives me 1. And 1n in n means exactly the same thing. So you don't necessarily have to put the 1 there and then divide by 1. You're giving yourself extra work. Now, negative 9 divided by 6 is not negative 3. Okay? We're not subtracting. We're not combining it that way. We are reducing it. But what do they have in common? What number does 9 and 6 have in common? It is going to be the 3. Different letters instead of x. Because you can use any letter to represent a variable. It doesn't always have to be x. Okay, the only letters that you can't use for a variable is E and I, because they're actually numbers. Okay? Alright, so it's going to be a 3. Because both the 6 and the 9 is both seen in the 3 times table. You don't have to worry about the signage when you're reducing. Like using a whole number of 3. Okay? So now, negative 9 divided by 3, that will give me a negative 3. And then 6 divided by 3, that will give me a positive 2. So that means I can have an answer of negative 3/2 if I want to keep it as improper. Okay. Another answer I could have is our negative 1 1/2 if they want it as a mixed number. Or if they have it as a decimal, you have that negative 1 5/10. What's missing with my answers? What's missing? Thank you, amazing, right? We need to bring down our inequality sign. So here's a question for you. Inequalities and equals, basically very similar until it gets to the end. Do I have to change the direction of my inequality sign? Okay. Do I have to change the direction? Okay, L, I see you. KP, I see you. Milla, I see you. Okay, short K, I see you. Brandy, I see you. Okay, L, I see you. Shane, I see you. N, I see you. Lucky wife, I see you. Plant, I see you. Amazing, I see you. Okay. Nelson, I see you. So Brenda, I see you. Is it Ho? Hoang? I see you. Okay, Sully. Hey, Sully. It's been a minute. I see you. MG, I see you. Slick Boy, I see you. Okay. Yep, Nelson, this is not the platform for that, okay? But thank you for the earlier answer. Appreciate you. Okay, Plant, I see you. K-Lord, I see you. Hey, Lynette, I see you. All right, so we do not have to change the direction of the sign. You're like, but we got a negative answer. Pause. That's not why you change the direction of the sign. Remember right here when we divided by 6? We divided by a positive 6. So when you change the direction of the sign is when you multiply or divide by a negative number. Not because you got a negative solution, because the operation of you dividing by a negative number, that's when you change the direction of the sign. So all of these are going to remain less than or equal to. Now, how do you know which of these answers is going to be represented? You're going to take, and especially if you're taking a standardized test, like the GED, the ASVAB, the Accuplacer, TEAS test, HESI test, SAT, ACT, any of those, you take a look at the answers. Take a look at the answer choices. All right? Now, if you're in a classroom, you're not just saying, oh, well, it's this and that's it. No, you have to show your work when you're in the classroom, because the teacher of record will definitely mark a lot of things wrong. But I got the right answer. Yeah, but you didn't show your work. But when you're taking a standardized test, it's completely different from how you take a test inside the classroom. Okay? And a lot of people, that's what holds you back, because you keep thinking, oh, let me show all my work. No, you'll be wasting time. They just want to know, is it A, B, C, or D? Okay? All right. Okay. So, here we go. But isn't negative 1.5 more than negative 9? But did you multiply that negative 1.5 by the 6? If you're going to go check, make sure you check fully. Okay, so that means it's going to be your 6 times negative 1.5 is going to be less than or equal to negative 9. Is that a true statement? Is that a true statement? Okay. Hey, Claudia. Thank you for the clovers. Okay. Well, true. Very true. Okay. Do your multiplication. Slick boy. Come on. Stop being so slick. So 6 times 5, that gives me 30. That's 0, carry the 1. Carry the 3, sorry. So then 6 times negative 1, that gives me negative 6. Then you have plus your 3, you gives you your negative 9. So negative 9 is less than or equal to negative 9. True statement? True. Okay. Yep, that's how you check it. You take your answer and you plug it back in to the original question for whatever n is. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay, we have one more, and it's going to be your favorite ever. Tell me how you feel right now. Don't try to solve it yet. Tell me how you feel. I want to hear your true reactions. This is the one and only time I'm going to let you swear. Go. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Tell me how you math it. Math this early. Where are you, Chelsea? Because if you guys are going to go back to school, you guys are I don't know about you. When I was a teacher, class started at 7:15. Some schools, and some schools started at 8:30. So I'm on time. All right, kind of discombobbled. All right, I see you, Paige. All right. Okay, how are you feeling? I know a lot of people are just sitting there like, I want to solve it. I'm like, you're going to solve it. But see, we have to get in touch with the emotion. A lot of us, as soon as we see a paragraph like this, we freak out. And I'm trying to tell you, you don't have to freak out, because you're trying to read all of this like it's a novel. Okay? Yep, and Brandy, don't. Because this is a 4-point question, and once I show you what to do, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, exactly. So we're not skipping it. Okay, yikes. You're feeling yikes? Good. All right? Now, let's embrace it. You don't have to read the whole thing like it's a Harlequin novel, okay? There was a man walking on the beach. He had a latte. He had a long night. He wanted a donut. Then all of a sudden, there was a girl on the beach, and then they asked the question, how old is Susan? Who the hell is Susan? So you just get into a frenzy. Then you're like, no, then go. Instead, let's look what they're giving us. 1, always go for the question. What are we supposed to find? And they said they want us to find the C of 20. So C is representing which, it's probably like a cost of something. But then they give us an equation. We don't need to read all of this stuff. Okay? So we have the C of 20. And notice the 20 and the M are in the same spots. So that's telling me that I have 0 and 1500ths. Instead of an M, what am I going to put? Okay, so instead of an M, I'm going to put, exactly, Joseph, thank you. I'm going to put the 20. Okay? Thank you, Austin. I see you. All right? So we did a problem like this earlier. Okay? I'm not sure when you guys came in, but we did a problem like this earlier. All we did was take what's inside the parenthesis and replaced it for the x, and then we went ahead and solved. So now you're not looking at this part. This is just to remind you what you substitute for the x. Boom. Come in here. So now we have to do our 1500ths times 20. Okay? So some states, I'm seeing that they're allowing to use calculators, but Maryland did not get that memo. So we're going to have to do long way multiplication. So 5 times 0 gives me 0. 5 times 2 gives me 10. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. So when you multiply with the decimal, okay, it's supposed to be in the decimal plot, this doesn't have any decimal places. This one has 2. So when we get our answer, I have to add these 2 to figure out how many decimal places my answer should be, which should be 2 decimal places. So we have our 0, we have our 0, and we have our 3. Okay, moving it over 2 decimal places, 1, 2. So we get an answer of 3. Pause, we're not done. So we figured that this part is going to be 3. We're going to bring down this part so we can finish everything out. Okay. There you go. So now 3 plus 2 and 5/10, really. Whole number with whole number. So 3 plus 2 gives me 5, 50. So that means the C of 20 gives you 550. If they want you to find it, that's what you do. Okay? If they want you to find it, that's what you do. But this was like a two-parter. Okay? Because, as we said, find the C of 20 and explain what it represents. So that means we have to kind of look. So the M is the same as the 20. But what does M represent? Well, if we come here, where M is the number of minutes written, and CM is the total cost in dollars. So if we're looking at what we're doing, C of 20 will be $5.50, and it represents the total cost for a 20-minute ride. So it was 20-minute rides, it cost $5.50, right? Now, who was it that was like, I'm going to skip it? So you know I'm going to scroll up and find out. How are you feeling now? Okay. Brandy, there it is. So Brandy, how are you feeling now? Let me extend up. Okay. How are you feeling? She's like, girl, don't shout me out. All right. So don't let it. You're so welcome. Now, do you feel like when you see this again, would you skip it? Okay, would you still skip it? No. All right, there you go. All right, everyone. So that is my time. Okay, again, after we do all of these type of problems, and I do apologize for the people that came on early, the trolls were on full effect, and that generally happens. Okay, but sometimes I just have to, protect people that are trying to learn. So now with all of this knowledge that you have, you need to find a way to apply it. So it's either we're going to do one of two things, okay? You're either going to continue watching videos of people getting hit in the balls or Karens across the world doing whatever Karens do, or you're going to apply what you're learning and so you can solidify it in your brain. You might want to do something with function notation. You might want to do some more verbal translations, okay, so we can get those equations together. We might want to do some more of graphing a linear equation, okay, or you might want to do some more order of operations. All of these cards I've actually created. Okay, I've created all of these cards. All of them are in the link in my bio. Now, the reason why I keep saying this, because I have like a whole series called Algebra at Your Pace. It's a digital, I have the digital ones that's basically linked up. And it hits on every concept that you're going to see on the GED, on the ASVAB, on the Accuplacer. Now, recently I had a young lady that passed the ASVAB. She came to me with a 20. And she got a 46. I met with her for an hour and a half. All we had to do was tweak her thinking. And I'm telling you guys, I was shocked too. Because I was like, all right, let's see if we can get to that 31. Just do this and do that and do this and do that. And she was like, I didn't expect to get that much. I just wanted to get a 31. And I'm like, awesome. So when it comes to my books, and she was watching my videos, she actually got the ASVAB book from the practice book that I have on my site. So again, that's on the YouTube, Jesus. That is on the link in my bio, because all my books have like a QR code in there. And then what I do is I walk you through a whole entire lesson. So then you can take down notes. Then you get extra practice problems. There's practice problems that's in the videos, but then you get extra practice problems to work on to make sure that you understand. It's so helpful. Not a problem, Brandy, because all of these things are here. So if anything, also take a look at that free check that I have in my site. So, and if you came here late and you wanted to see the whole live, give me about like maybe an hour and a half, close to 2, and then you can go here, all right, and you can see all of my replays here on TikTok. But if you want to get like the practice and that math check, go to the link in my bio. Okay, this is the link itself. Go to the link in my bio and take the look at the very first link. Now here's my thing. If you do the math check, there is an answer key with it, but if you want me to break down concepts, I'm more than willing to do that. You just have to DM me what your results are. What did you get? What did you write down? And you're like, Audrey, I'm still stuck on this, and I saw this, and I'm wondering if you could show it to me. not a problem. But if you don't ask, I can't help. And that's what I really want to do. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. Ooh, did I block the wrong person? Probably did. Nope, I didn't. Okay. All right. So, if you need any more assistance, just let me know. Okay. All right. So that's the end of my sessions. If you have any questions, please message me. That's all you have to do. Let's see if we can come up with a plan. How are you guys studying for your GEDs, your ASVAB, your Accuplacer? Is there something that you need, that you feel that you're missing? Let's talk it out. If you want tutoring, let's talk it out. If you need extra assistance, just let me know. All right. Have an amazing day. I'll be back on tomorrow morning. I think it's going to be 8 o'clock again. So if anything, yes, it's going to be 8 o'clock again tomorrow. So if anything, go ahead and follow me. I always try to put an alert on when I'm on, and we'll take it from there. All right, everyone. Have an amazing day. Take care.